sure you'll agree, right now Star Wars games are in a bit of a dry spell. I mean, apart from the Fallen Order franchise, we haven't really had anything. And it's been like this since Disney took over. I mean, cancelled project here, lackluster title there, and how can we forget about how poorly they've treated the Battlefront IP? But it wasn't always this way. I mean, during the 2000s we had a golden age of titles like Republic Commando, Battlefront 2, or The Force Unleashed, just to name a few. And LucasArts seemed to be wanting to continue this into the 2010s by creating a video game on the highly popular yet mysterious Darth Maul. At this point, Maul wasn't even reintroduced into the Clone Wars, so this was going to be our first look at him since The Phantom Menace. And with games like The Force Unleashed being such a hit, there was no doubt this was going to be a classic. But as we know, George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, and during their purge of content, not including the original movies and Clone Wars of course, the Darth Maul game was cancelled. Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Archives. In this video I'll be looking at what story we missed out on, and how the story in this game massively differs from current canon. Before I start though, I'll quickly say that if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and comment. And if you want to see any more Star Wars content, long or short form, then be sure to subscribe, as the support means a lot. And without further ado, let's begin. Now, I won't pretend that everything to do with the game was plain sailing and it was just ruined one day by Disney cancelling it, because that is not the case. I mean, this game went through major changes during early development due to George Lucas changing his ideas on what the story should entail. Initially, when LucasArts contracted Red Fly Studio to create the Battle of the Sith Lords, as it was titled, with no script provided, Red Fly wanted to tell the origin story of Maul. This would have covered Maul being kidnapped by Palpatine as a young boy, and we would witness how Sidious would mould Maul physically and mentally into the Sith Lord we see in Episode 1. It was also later revealed by Dan Borth, a former employee on the game, that this story would also feature our first look on screen of Sidious's betrayal and his murder of his master Darth Plagueis. And then, by nature, the game would end with his death during the Phantom Menace. But LucasArts actually informed Red Fly that Maul survived his duel on Naboo, which to me is just crazy because his return in the Clone Wars was still years away, and they didn't even let Red Fly know on the details of his survival, just that he was alive. So, later down the line, Lucas came to Red Fly with his new interest on where the game should go. This being his want for Darth Maul to work alongside Darth Talon. And if you even know a little bit about the EU, you'll know this shouldn't be possible, as Darth Talon was alive a long time after Maul. More specifically, she became a Sith 137 years after the Battle of Yavin. And Red Fly Studios knew this too. So after telling Lucas that this wouldn't be possible, George came up with the idea that the main character would be a descendant or a clone of Darth Maul. So naturally, Red Fly accepted this idea, and the groundworks for the game's story finally came together. One of the paths Red Fly Studio took involved the real Darth Maul acting as some kind of Force ghost, and master to the new version of Maul, who he trained to become like him in every way. This plot would have the new version of Maul and Talon working together against the legacy character Darth Krayt and his Sith army, hence the title of the game, with a Red Fly developer stating that the new Maul's motivation to strike at Darth Krayt would come from his fury from the original Maul and his want to avenge the Sith, because Krayt's new Sith goes against the rule of two. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out why Disney chose not to allow development of this game, due to some pretty heavy lore contradictions. And there are a wide range of contradictions too, such as the character of Darth Krayt. Also known as Asherad Het in Legends, he just doesn't exist in canon. He would go on to interact with characters heavily like Anakin Skywalker, Luke, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was also a Jedi Master and later a General in the Clone Wars, who would go on to survive Order 66 and the Jedi Purge, later becoming Darth Krayt and living for over 100 more years. He would also go on to be captured by the Yuzong Vong, leading to his turn to darkness, and I mean, they have no current mention or existence at all in canon, other than we had some concept art in the Clone Wars, but that never came to fruit, so in canon right now, there's no existence of them at all. But even an example like Maul and Darkseid users in general are just unable to become Force ghosts in canon, and this was a main source of motivation in this planned story, so you get my point. And on top of that, also the fact that it would be taking place in a time period like this, Disney probably would want to delve into that themselves at some point with complete creative freedom, not having to dance around events to happen in a Darth Maul game. And we're already starting to slowly get there with the release of Rey's new Jedi Order movie. And it's been pretty clear that just Disney don't really have loads of interest in using the old EU for their projects that move Star Wars actually forward years, away from the Battle of Yavin. And this was just shown, honestly, throughout the sequel trilogy where, the characters were brand new, the events were brand new, and there was just very little EU material drawn from at all. As you can probably gather from this, the cancellation of Battle of the Sith Lords is not as simple as some other instances where low funding or a controversial decision from the big bosses upstairs have been a clear fault. Instead, this game on the surface looks to be like The Force Unleashed with Darth Maul, which is something I'm sure everyone could get excited for. But after looking into the story, it would have just never worked with the plans Disney had for their current canon post Return of the Jedi. As well as this, the story of Maul, where I feel they've actually done justice and improved on his character with the release of content like Star Wars Rebels or the Clone Wars Season 7. And to be honest, and to give my opinion on the situation, I would always be down for a Darth Maul video game. But I would have preferred to have seen something which aligned more with Red Fly's original script. You know, before The Phantom Menace covering an origin story. I think it would have been difficult to make it work with Lucas's draft, and I feel the story would have been seen in the same light as something more like The Force Unleashed 2 instead of a more well-received EU Star Wars game or story. So, what remains of the Maul video game, and should we have any hope that it could be revived following EA's exclusivity rights not being renewed? Well, when Red Fly got the email informing them of cancellation due to Disney's acquisition of Star Wars, the game's prototype phase had just been finished. So, it wasn't as close to completion as the likes of Battlefront 3. But in October 2015, Red Fly began to work on a full next-generation demo of Maul on Unreal Engine 4 to spark the interest of EA or Disney, in the hopes that the game would be revived, and they also made, Disney and Lucasfilm aware that they'd be willing to make changes to reskin this game to their desires. But just later in that year, in December, Lucasfilm confirmed they were not interested despite the new demo, and that all Star Wars games going forward would be produced by Electronic Arts. And this information was all revealed in a Reddit AMA, which ended up just completely annoying Lucasfilm, which is quite funny. And well, that's the last we have on the Maul project since 2015, which confirms to me that Battle of the Sith Lords will never be revived, despite EA's license not being renewed. But games with main characters like Vader, the Mandalorians, or Darth Maul will always be wanted by fans, whether they're a Star Wars know-it-all or just a casual. And with Star Wars games being open for everyone, I could see another Maul game happening with a brand new story and a title one day, hopefully. And so until that day, this is the end of the story of Darth Maul Battle of the Sith Lords. And it's really sad the amount of Star Wars games that have been cancelled over the years. And like I said at the beginning, we really are in a dark age of Star Wars games. But with Star Wars Outlaws on the way and many other projects that have been confirmed to be in development, it's actually kind of looking hopeful now for us fans who have a lot to look forward to, and let's be honest, it can't be much worse than it has been. And that concludes this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to check out one of the videos on screen that I think you might like, and to leave a like and comment on this one. We're over 300 subscribers now, and every one of them means so much to me, so thank you all. And I'll see you all in the next video. And may the Force be with you, always.